Are you tired of being a reflection? Of waking up and feeling like your day will be dictated by your bank balance, your boss, someone else's mood? What if I told you this is a choice, that there is a frequency, a single vibration that when activated, changes the game forever? The ancient Egyptians called it the master frequency. Whoever masters it doesn't ask, they command. And reality, like a servant, obeys. I won't ask you to believe. I'll force you to feel. Close your eyes for 3 seconds. Think about your biggest problem right now. Feel its weight on your body. Did you feel it? Now, open your eyes. This weight is the frequency you've been broadcasting 24 hours a day. It's your vibrational signature, and you've been using it to create more of the same. You've just proven to yourself that your reality is created by a feeling. Today, I'll give you Thoth's method for emptying this burdensome frequency and installing the master frequency in its place. First, we'll expose the lie that keeps you trapped in this cycle. Then, I'll give you the one-word command that breaks the ego's hypnotic trance. And only then will I reveal the complete protocol for making this new frequency permanent. Don't skip any part. The system is designed to be unbreakable unless you follow the steps in the exact order. If you are ready to stop being a reflection and become the source of light, comment, "Reality obeys me." This force you've begun to awaken operates on a much larger playing field than you can imagine. Think of everything you consider real. Your body, your home, the money in the bank, the problems that worry you. Now, imagine that all of this is just the frozen surface of an infinite ocean. Quantum science, after centuries of materialism, is finally arriving at the same conclusion that ancient mystics and sages have always known. The physical universe, the world of matter that our 5 senses can perceive, makes up less than 1% of all that exists. It's a disconcerting and wonderful realization. The rest, the other 99%, is a vast, pulsating ocean of pure energy and information. A field of infinite potential where every possibility that ever existed or could exist coexists as waves of probability, waiting to be called into existence. The ancients called it many things: the ether, the akasha, the mind of God. Today, physics calls it the quantum field or the unified field. It is the raw material of the cosmos, the source from which everything emerges. And you are immersed in this ocean right now, whether you realize it or not. Esoteric traditions spoke of a veil that separates our perceived world from this greater reality. It's not a physical veil, but a barrier of perception, a limitation imposed by our 5 senses and our programmed minds. You're not living in the totality of reality. You're living in an extremely thin slice of it, a single radio station tuned into an infinite spectrum of frequencies. And the station you tune into is determined by one thing: your personal frequency, your dominant state of being. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Plato described this perfectly in his allegory of the cave. You are like a prisoner chained since birth, forced to stare at a wall where shadows dance. For you, these shadows are the only reality. You name them, study their patterns, fear some and desire others. But you never realize that the shadows are merely projections of real forms that exist behind you, illuminated by a fire. The physical world is your wall of shadows. What if you could break the chains, turn your head, and look directly at the source of the light? The point is, you're not just watching the shadows. You're unconsciously helping to project them. Your energy, your attention, your focus. All of this acts as a filter, selecting which of the infinite possibilities of the quantum field will manifest as a shadow on your wall. In your physical reality, you're not a passive spectator of the universe. You're an active participant, a co-creator. Your life isn't something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you every second of every day. This leads us to an uncomfortable question. If you're tuning into a reality of scarcity, struggle, and loneliness, it's not because the universe is cruel. It's because somehow your internal frequency is stuck on that station. You've become an expert at tuning into what you don't want. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, simply reflects your transmission back to you. It doesn't judge, it simply responds. Your reality is a perfect feedback loop of your vibration. So, if the world you see is only a fraction of the truth, and if you are constantly selecting that fraction with your energy, the most important question of your life becomes, what exactly controls the dial? What defines this frequency you emit, this vibrational signature that sculpts your personal universe from the invisible ocean of potential? The answer lies in the secret anatomy of your own consciousness. The dial that tunes your reality is your frequency. And this frequency is not an abstract or poetic concept. It is a physical, measurable reality. At the heart of the universe, from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, nothing stands still. Everything moves, everything pulsates, everything vibrates. This is the fundamental law of the cosmos, a secret that visionaries like Nikola Tesla tried to tell us. Your very existence is a symphony of vibrations. Every cell in your body, every thought that crosses your mind, every emotion that courses through your chest, everything is vibration. And the rate of this vibration is what we call frequency. Modern neuroscience can map this visibly. When you're in a state of fear, anger, or shame, your brain produces slow, incoherent, low-frequency waves. But when you experience joy, love, or gratitude, your brain fires in fast, harmonious, high-frequency waves, such as gamma waves, associated with peak states of consciousness and epiphanies. Your feelings aren't just chemical reactions. They're electrical signals, energy transmissions you constantly emit into the quantum field. You're a walking transmission tower. Think of it as a vibrational address. Every emotion has a unique address. The frequency of fear is completely different from the frequency of trust. The vibration of scarcity has nothing to do with the vibration of abundance. The universe doesn't understand your words or your mental desires. It only understands the language of frequency. This is why positive thinking alone fails miserably. You can repeat "I am prosperous" all day long, but if your body is vibrating at the address of fear of lack, what message do you think the universe is receiving? The loudest, the strongest, the most honest. Your personal frequency, therefore, is the sum total and dominant aspect of your emotional state. It's not what you think occasionally, but what you feel most of the time. It's your emotional home. And this constant transmission acts like a magnet. If you're vibrating at the frequency of frustration, you become a magnet for more situations, people, and events that will make you feel frustrated. It's not a punishment. It's the law of resonance. Like attracts like. The universe is simply giving you more of what you already are. The biggest mistake is believing that your emotions are caused by the outside world. You believe you feel bad because something bad happened. But the truth, as we'll see, is that the cycle perpetuates itself in the opposite direction. You feel bad, and so more bad things happen, which makes you feel even worse. You're stuck in a loop, a vibrational trap. You're tuning into the suffering radio station and wondering why the music is always sad. You're not just living in reality, you're tuning into it moment by moment. Your task, therefore, is not to try to change the world outside. It's to change the station you're broadcasting within. But to do that, you need to understand what fuels this frequency. It's not your conscious thoughts. It's something much deeper, more primal, and more powerful. It's your subconscious programming, the beliefs and emotions that have been ingrained in you since childhood. And this programming creates a vicious cycle, an invisible prison that reinforces itself with every passing second. This vibration you emit, governed by what you feel, is the most potent creative force in the universe. But for most people, it operates on autopilot, recreating the past over and over. You're trapped in a pattern, a feedback loop that keeps you chained to the same reality, no matter how hard you fight to escape. And awareness of this loop is the first step to breaking it. But how exactly does this prison work? This vibration you emit doesn't operate in a vacuum. It creates a feedback loop, a closed loop that becomes your personal prison. And you are, at once, the prisoner, the guard, and the architect of this prison. It works in such a subtle way that most people go their entire lives without realizing it. It starts with an observation. You look at the outside world, at your material reality, and use it as a reference to know how to feel. You look at your bank account and see a low number. That's the observation. Immediately, this observation triggers a chain reaction within you. A corresponding emotion emerges. Anxiety, worry, fear. This feeling isn't just a bad feeling. It's a specific frequency, a vibration of lack and scarcity. Now, like a transmission tower, you begin to emit this signal of lack into the quantum field. And the field, which operates by the law of resonance, responds in the only way it can. It delivers more circumstances that match your vibration of lack. Perhaps an unexpected bill appears, or a business opportunity disappears. So what do? You look at this new evidence. I knew it. You think, life is hard. I never have enough money. This new observation reinforces the original feeling of lack, making it even stronger. Your scarcity frequency intensifies, and you send an even more powerful signal to the universe, which responds with even more proof of your belief. And the cycle perpetuates itself, day after day. You're stuck in a loop. You're using your current reality to create your future reality, ensuring it will be exactly the same. Neuroscience has a name for this: Hebbian reinforcement. The famous phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together, perfectly describes this prison. Every time you react to a circumstance with the same negative emotion, you strengthen the neural pathways in your brain associated with that reaction. You are literally programming yourself to be and feel the same way. Your personality becomes a set of automatic reactions to the outside world. You are no longer in control. Your environment is in control. You have become an effect, not a cause. This is the deepest form of bondage. It's not a physical slavery, with iron chains, but a vibrational slavery, with chains of repetitive thoughts and emotions. It's the hidden story of the biblical Exodus. The Israelites weren't just slaves in physical Egypt. They were slaves to a mentality of victimhood and servitude. Even after being freed, they wandered in the desert for 40 years. Why? Because the body can escape slavery, but the enslaved mind must die. And you are wandering in your own desert, looking at your current reality and using it to keep yourself chained. This cycle is the only thing holding you back. It's not the government. It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's not your past. It's your habit of reacting to the outside world in the same way, day after day, keeping your frequency stuck in the same place. The awareness of this mechanism, the act of observing yourself in this loop, is the first sound of the chains breaking. It's the moment you realize your cell door was never locked. You just believed it was. But the burning question is, how do you break a cycle reinforced by everything you see, hear, and feel? How do you feel abundance when your bills are due? How do you feel healthy when your body aches? It seems impossible. a logical contradiction. And this is where the master key comes in, the truth that reverses the entire power struggle and puts control back in your hands. A truth that modern physics is only beginning to prove. To break the cycle, you need to understand the most fundamental and revolutionary truth about the nature of existence, a truth that inverts the entire power equation. Consciousness is not a byproduct of the material world. Consciousness creates the material world. The mind is not a passive spectator of the universe. Mind precedes matter. It is the cause, and matter is the effect. This is not a new age philosophy. It is the inevitable conclusion to where quantum physics has been leading us for a century. And the ancient sages knew this all along. Science has discovered something called the observer effect. In experiments, subatomic particles, the building blocks of our reality, do not exist as small, solid objects. They exist in a state of pure potentiality, a wave of all possibilities simultaneously. They only become a thing, a particle located at a specific point in time and space, the moment they are observed. It is the act of focusing consciousness, the act of observing, that collapses the wave of potential into a real, material event. Think about what this means. Your attention, your focus, your consciousness is not just perceiving the world. It is literally selecting and drawing it from the invisible energy field and transforming it into physical reality. You don't live in a fixed, predetermined universe. You live in a participatory universe, one that responds and shapes itself according to where you place your consciousness. The world you experience in each moment is a direct reflection of where your consciousness has been and what it has chosen to focus on. Your problem, the reason you're stuck in the loop, is that you've given all your power to the reflection in the mirror. You wake up, look into the mirror of your material reality, don't like what you see, lack, illness, loneliness, and spend all day trying to fix the reflection. You fight it, worry about it, react to it, but you can never change a reflection by changing it. You can only change it by changing the original object being reflected. And the original object is you. It's your state of being, your frequency. You've been taking matter too seriously. You've been treating the effect as if it were the cause. You've allowed the densest and slowest form of vibration, the physical world, to dictate your truth, define who you are, and determine how you should feel. You've forgotten that your origin is not material. Your origin is pure consciousness, the same creative force that collapses waves of possibility into matter. You are not a creation of matter. You are the consciousness that animates it. When you understand this deeply, not just with your mind, but with every cell of your being, the question changes. The question ceases to be, what will reality bring me today? Or when will my life improve? The question becomes, what do I, as the creative consciousness, choose to manifest next? You stop being a reader of your life's script and become the writer. You pick up the pen again. You reclaim your innate power to make an impact on the world. However, the very moment you decide to pick up that pen, the moment you try to use that key to open your cell, an inner voice rises, a loud, insistent, and utterly convincing voice that will do anything to stop you. A powerful guardian designed for a single purpose, to keep you inside the prison you know, and facing this guardian is your greatest and only challenge. On this journey to bend reality to your will, you won't face an external enemy. Your opponent isn't a person. It's not your bills. It's not the government. The most formidable adversary, the only one who can truly stop you, lives within you. It's the voice that, right now, as you read this, is whispering doubts. That's nonsense. Be realistic. You can't simply ignore your problems. What if it doesn't work? You'll look like an idiot. You know that voice. It's your constant companion. Mystical traditions have given this opponent many names. In Kabbalah, he is called the Satan, which in Hebrew does not mean a horned demon, but the adversary, the accuser. He is the reactive voice that always opposes change and accuses you of being inadequate. Mystical Christianity speaks of the Antichrist not as a figure of the apocalypse, but as the consciousness that opposes the Christ consciousness, the consciousness of unity and the divine power within. Carl Jung called him the shadow. We call him the ego. The ego is your programmed identity. It's the mental construct you believe you are, but you aren't. It was born and created by material reality. From the day you were born, the outside world taught you who you should be. Your parents, your teachers, society, all contributed to the construction of this character. The ego is the loyal child of the material world, and like a loyal child, it will always take physical reality seriously. Its primary function is to ensure your survival, and for it, survival means remaining within the limits of the known and the familiar. The idea that you can create reality from an internal state, ignoring external facts, is a deadly threat to the ego. It's like telling a prison guard that the prison doesn't exist. He'll fight with all his might to convince you that the walls are real and insurmountable. The ego depends on the outside world for validation. It needs achievements, approval, status, money, to feel worthy. It's the guardian of your personal matrix, the program that runs the loop of reality endlessly, because that's all it knows. Trying to fight the ego with brute force is futile. It's like fighting your own hand. It's a part of you. You can't defeat it. You can only transcend it. You do this by ceasing to identify with it. You begin to observe it, listening to your fears and doubts without believing them. You see it as an old computer program, running in the background, but no longer needing to dictate your actions or feelings. You are the consciousness observing the ego, not the ego itself. The ego is your personal sabotage mechanism. The moment you decide to feel abundant, it immediately reminds you of your bank account. The moment you decide to feel healthy, it reminds you of your pain. It is a master at using current reality as a weapon against you, to pull you back into the cycle of reaction. It is the voice that insists you are a victim of your circumstances, not their cause. And the question remains, how do you transcend this mechanism? How do you operate from a place of power when your own internal system is designed to keep you powerless? The answer lies not in fighting, but in a silent and definitive act of power. An act that strips the ego of its authority and returns it to its true essence. A movement that doesn't attempt to destroy the guardian, but simply passes through it, realizing it never had the power to bind you. This act is the crux of all transformation. The moment you finally break the spell and begin to rewrite your destiny. We have now reached the turning point, the act of power that breaks the ego's spell and frees you from the reality loop. It's what we call the great inversion. This isn't a long, complicated process. It's a decision. A conscious, deliberate, and unwavering decision to withdraw your allegiance from the physical world and place it entirely in your inner state of being. It's the moment you declare, to yourself and to the universe, that how you feel is more real and more important than any fact your five senses can present to you. This means that when your bank account shows a low number, you refuse to enter the frequency of fear and scarcity. Instead, you deliberately, as an act of will, embody the frequency of abundance, gratitude, and security. You feel as if you already have everything you need. When external circumstances bring you chaos and drama, you refuse to be sucked into that vibration. Instead, you anchor yourself firmly in inner peace, like the calm eye in the center of a hurricane. You stop letting the world tell you how to feel. This isn't denial. It's not pretending problems don't exist. It's something much more powerful. It's an act of creation. You're refusing to use the raw material of your current reality to build your future. Instead, you're choosing a new raw material, a new frequency, from within, and decreeing that it is from this that your new reality will be built. You stop being a thermometer, which merely reflects the temperature of the environment, and become a thermostat, which sets the temperature of the environment. You become the cause. This is the true secret of invincibility. It's not about building a shield to protect yourself from the world's problems. It's about raising your frequency to a point where low vibrational problems simply can't resonate with you. They become invisible to your reality. It's like trying to listen to an AM radio station on an FM receiver. The frequency is incompatible. Drama, lack, and conflict continue to exist in the world. But they can no longer enter your personal experience because there's nothing within you that corresponds to them. By performing the great inversion, you stop asking reality for permission to feel good, to feel loved, to feel prosperous. You stop waiting for an external reason. You understand that you are the reason. You give yourself permission. You generate these feelings from within, by divine decree, as an innate right of your existence as creator consciousness. And by doing so, you become the dominant frequency in your own universe. You become the strongest signal in the room. And the universe, by law, must obey the strongest frequency. Matter has no choice. External reality, which once seemed so solid and immutable, becomes fluid and malleable. It begins to reorganize, to reshape itself, to match its new transmission. Synchronicities begin to happen. The right people appear. Opportunities arise out of nowhere. Not by luck, but by resonance. The outside world begins to conform to the image you hold firmly within. You become living proof that consciousness creates reality. You've broken the spell. You've stepped out of the mental matrix. You're no longer reacting to the movie of your life. You're directing it. This is the power that has always been dormant within you, waiting for the moment you're ready to claim it. And now that you know the key, the journey of mastery truly begins. Now that you've accomplished the great inversion, the ego, your inner guardian, doesn't disappear. It simply changes tactics. It will try to pull you back to the old reality using its most powerful weapons, the traps of survival. Think about it. All your energy, for years, has been channeled into three main concerns: material security, having money, a roof over your head; sensory pleasure, food, sex, entertainment; and social power, status, validation, acceptance. Ancient wisdom systems, like the chakras, have mapped this perfectly. They are the lower energy centers, the realms of survival. They are not evil, but they are the ego's playground. The ego is a master at convincing you that your peace, happiness, and worth depend entirely on satisfying these three centers. It whispers that you can only relax when you have enough money in the bank. It tells you that joy lies in the next purchase, the next trip, the next dose of pleasure. It makes you believe that your value as a person is measured by the number of likes you receive, the position you hold, or the opinions of others. This relentless pursuit keeps you in a constant state of lack. You're always chasing something outside of yourself to fill a void that never quite fills. This is the rat wheel on an energetic level. Every time you worry about bills, you're draining your creative energy into the frequency of scarcity. Every time you compare yourself to others on social media and feel inferior, you're giving away your power and feeding the frequency of inadequacy. Every time you seek momentary pleasure to escape a feeling of emptiness, you're only postponing the inevitable and reinforcing the belief that joy comes from outside. You are, without realizing it, strengthening the bars of your own vibrational prison every day. These traps are brilliantly designed by the system to keep your consciousness focused downward, trapped in the cycle of material problems and solutions. They keep you dense, reactive, and most importantly, obedient to physical reality. As long as you're busy chasing the carrot, you'll never stop to question the nature of the race itself. You'll remain a slave to the material world, always seeking the next dose of security or validation, instead of finding the inexhaustible source of security and value that already exists within you. The system needs you to believe that you are a being of needs, not a being of power. Liberation doesn't come by destroying these energy centers or becoming an ascetic monk. Liberation comes by transcending their tyranny. It means stopping letting them dictate your state of being. It means finding security, joy, and worth from within, regardless of external circumstances. It's a radical shift in the source from which you derive your power. You stop trying to fill a leaky cup with water from the outside world and start drinking directly from the source within. To do this, you need to stop seeing yourself as a being who needs to survive and start remembering who you really are. You are not the scared, needy character your ego has created. You are not your history of struggle, your traumas, or your limitations. This is just the mask you've worn for so long that you've forgotten it was a mask. The true shift in power happens when you disidentify from this character and remember who the actor behind it is. And this remembrance isn't just a pretty idea. It's an awakening. It's the recognition that you are the very consciousness that animates the universe, a spark of the creative source. And this divine spark needs nothing from the outside world to be complete. But how do you access this truth on a deep level? How do you truly feel this completeness and stop falling into the traps of the ego? The act of the great inversion is your entry point into a new identity. It's the moment you stop identifying with the character on the stage of life and remember that you are the actor, the director, and the screenwriter. Think about it. You are not your life story. You are not your name, your job, your bank account, or your relationships. These are merely the circumstances and props of your character. You are the pure, silent consciousness experiencing it all, the observer behind the eyes. You are a fractal of the source, a spark of the divine mind that dreams and animates the entire universe. Just as a drop of the ocean contains the essence of the entire ocean, you contain, within your essence, the same qualities of creator consciousness. You are infinite, eternally creative, abundant, and, most importantly, complete. You need nothing to become whole, because you were never broken. Your only mistake was believing in amnesia, forgetting your true nature, and completely identifying with the limited avatar playing the game of life on Earth. The ancient mystery school, from Egypt to India, had a single goal: to help their initiates remember this divine nature. They taught that the kingdom of heaven is not a place you go after you die, but a state of consciousness you can access right now, within yourself. It is the recognition that the source of all power, all peace, and all abundance is not in the outside world, but within your own being. When you begin to disidentify with the ego and its incessant needs, magic happens. You stop seeking power in the world and begin to access it from within. The desperate search for external validation becomes futile and even a little foolish, because you realize that you are already inherently valuable and complete. You don't need anyone to tell you that you are good enough, because you feel your own divinity. You don't need to accumulate things to feel secure, because you find security in your connection with the infinite. The search ends. And it is from this profound recognition that true transformation begins. You're no longer trying to fix a broken character, patching up your flaws and insecurities with material success. Instead, you begin to operate from the perfection of your true essence. Your actions in the world are no longer motivated by fear and lack, but rather an expression of your wholeness. You act not to obtain something, but to express who you are. And this subtle shift in the motivation behind your actions changes absolutely everything. Imagine the difference between someone who works desperately to prove their worth and someone who works as a joyful expression of their creativity, already feeling fulfilled. The energy is completely different. The frequency is different. The former vibrates need and attracts struggle. The latter vibrates fulfillment and attracts flow and synchronicity. By disidentifying from the character, you shift your fundamental frequency from need to fulfillment. You become a beacon of energy instead of a black hole. And when you operate from this place, your life becomes your masterpiece. You're no longer trying to survive the game. You're consciously creating it. This brings us to your single most important task in this new way of being. A task that, if taken seriously, becomes the center of your entire existence and the tool with which you sculpt reality. Now that you know you are the creator and not the creation, your life becomes immensely simplified. You have only one task, one single job that becomes more important than anything else you do. The sacred prioritization of your state of being. Your state, which is the constant combination of your thoughts, your focus, and hapastana, crucially, your emotions, is the brush and paint with which you paint the canvas of reality. Nothing is more important than deliberately managing and cultivating this state. Absolutely nothing. Most people live in an inverted reality model, the have-do-be model. They say, when I have the money, I'll take the trip of my dreams, and then I'll be happy. They view happiness and fulfillment as a reward that can only be achieved after external conditions are met. The conscious creator radically reverses this logic. They operate from the be-do-have model. They say, I choose to be happy, abundant, and at peace now, without any external reason. From this state of being, I will take inspired and aligned actions. And as a natural result, I will have what aligns with my frequency. You must become obsessed with how you feel, not in a hedonistic or selfish way, seeking only pleasure, but like a master craftsman who cares for his most precious tool. Your emotional state is your creative tool. You protect it. You cultivate it. You refuse to allow external circumstances or other people to contaminate it. You deliberately cultivate feelings of joy, peace, love, and gratitude. Not because the world gave you a reason to, but because you have decided that this is your fundamental frequency, your default setting. This means you find ways to feel abundant even before the money appears. You can do this by feeling gratitude for everything you already have, or simply by closing your eyes and feeling the thrill of financial security in every cell of your body. You find ways to feel loved and complete before the perfect relationship appears, connecting with the love that is your very essence. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission to feel good. You give yourself that permission. When you allow yourself to experience the final state of your desire as an already present reality, something extraordinary happens in the quantum field. You become a vibrational beacon, a magnetic vortex so powerful that external reality, matter, energy, people, and circumstances have no choice but to rearrange themselves to mirror this new truth you are emitting. You are no longer chasing reality. You are making reality chase you. But how do you do this in practice? How do you maintain a state of gratitude when the bills are piling up? How do you feel healthy when your body aches? The answer isn't to fight the current reality, but it's to shift your attention away from it. You stop giving your energy and focus to what you don't want, and instead, you place all your attention and energy on the reality you're choosing to create from within. You let the old reality starve from lack of attention while nourishing the new with your whole being. And when you practice this consistently, your frequency stabilizes at a higher level. It becomes your new normal. And at that point, you no longer need to shield yourself from the world. Your own frequency becomes your protection. You begin to wear an invisible cloak that makes you immune to the world's negativity and chaos. When you master the art of prioritizing and maintaining your internal state, your frequency becomes a force field, a cloak of invincibility. But don't think of it as a brute force shield that fights the world and repels attacks. It's something much more elegant and powerful. It's a field of resonance that filters reality. The universe operates under a fundamental and immutable law, the law of resonance. Like attracts like. One vibration can only connect with another. When you consistently vibrate at the frequency of trust, peace, and well-being, low vibrational circumstances, people, and events simply can't find a match with you. Fear, lack, drama, chaos, conflict, manipulation. All of these operate at low and incoherent frequencies. If your dominant frequency is high and coherent, these low vibrational experiences become non-resonant with you. It's like trying to tune an AM radio station into an FM receiver. The frequency simply isn't compatible. This means that unexpected problems, crises that arise out of nowhere, people who drain your energy, family dramas, all of these begin to fade from your life. Not because you fought them, avoided them, or worked through them. They disappear because you've shifted your attunement. You become energetically invisible to negativity. It's as if you're operating in a different dimension, even though you're in the same physical space. Things you no longer resonate with don't need to be forcibly removed. They simply dissolve from your experience, like shadows that cannot exist in the presence of a bright light. Your high frequency becomes your protection, your spiritual immune system. You stop worrying about protecting yourself from the world because you understand that the only real protection is your own vibration. You can walk through a chaotic environment and remain in a state of inner peace, untouched by the drama around you. People may try to provoke or manipulate you, but their words and energies simply don't find a hook in you to latch onto, because you are no longer vibrating at the frequency of reactivity or insecurity. This is the power that the masters and avatars demonstrated. They didn't fight the darkness. They simply were the light. And in the presence of their light, the darkness had no choice but to retreat. You are learning to do the same. You are learning to be the light in your own life. Your daily practice of cultivating your state of being is weaving this cloak of invincibility around you, thread by thread. This vibrational immunity is true freedom. It's the freedom to no longer be a victim of circumstances or other people's energy. You become sovereign in your own energetic space. You are the king or queen of your own kingdom, and the law of your kingdom is the frequency you choose to emit. Nothing that doesn't correspond to this law can enter. However, even with this newfound power, there's one last major obstacle the ego will try to place in your path. A subtle trap that can sabotage the entire process, even when you're doing everything right. It's the tyranny of a small, four-letter word that can paralyze the power of the universe. You've set your intention. You're cultivating your state of being, feeling the thrill of your desire already fulfilled. You're donning your cloak of invincibility. And then the ego, your inner saboteur, panics. It can no longer control you with fear of external reality, so it uses its last and most powerful weapon, the tyranny of how. Your logical mind, trained your entire life to solve problems, immediately begins demanding a plan. Okay, I'm feeling prosperous, but how will the money actually appear? Should I start a new business? Should I ask for a raise? How will healing happen? Which doctor should I see? How will the perfect relationship manifest? Trying to figure out the how from your limited, logical mind is the greatest act of distrust you can commit against the universe. It's like a single cell in your finger trying to understand and control the entire complex workings of your body. Your finite mind can only see the paths it already knows, based on your past experiences. But the quantum field, the infinite mind of the universe, has access to infinite paths, to possibilities you can't even imagine. Trying to control the how is limiting yourself to a tiny fraction of the possibilities. Your only responsibility in the creative process is the what and the why. The what is your clear intention, what you want to experience. The why is your energy, your state, the feeling of already having it. The how is none of your business. The how is the domain of divine intelligence, the wisdom of the universe that orchestrates the dance of billions of galaxies. Do you think this same intelligence needs your help figuring out how to bring you an opportunity or a solution? Surrendering the how is an act of profound power and trust. It's saying to the universe, I trust you. I know what I want to feel, and I trust that you, in your infinite wisdom, will bring it to me in the fastest, most harmonious, and most surprising way possible. This is the Taoist principle of Wu Wei, effortless action. You stop rowing frantically against the current, trying to force an outcome. Instead, you let go of the oars, trust the flow of the river, and allow it to carry you to your destination. It is in this space of surrender, of letting go of control, that miracles happen. Because when you stop insisting on your limited path, you open space for the infinite and ingenious solutions of the universe to manifest. The ego mind hates this. For it, surrendering control is like death. It will bombard you with what ifs. What if nothing happens? What if you're just wasting time? Your task is to observe these panicked thoughts and not identify with them. You recognize them as the ego's fear and gently return to your state of trust and surrender. You trust that if you're doing your part, maintaining the frequency, the universe will do its part, orchestrating the how. This surrender isn't passivity. It's not sitting on the couch and waiting for money to fall from the sky. It's a state of alertness and receptivity. You remain open and attentive to the signs, the whispers of intuition, the synchronicities that will begin to appear. And this brings us to the crucial difference between acting out of fear and acting out of inspiration. Many people confuse this surrender with laziness or inaction. They think, okay, so I don't need to do anything. And this is the biggest misunderstanding of all. Surrendering the how doesn't mean stopping acting. It means stopping acting from the wrong place. It means the end of forced action and the beginning of a completely different kind of action. Surrendering the how isn't passivity. It's the gateway to a much more powerful and effective type of action, aligned action. To understand this, you must first recognize the type of action you've been practicing your entire life. Forced action. Forced action stems from fear, doubt, and the frequency of lack. It's when you work yourself to exhaustion for fear of not having enough. It's when you manipulate situations and people for fear of losing control. It's when you act from a place of persecution, chasing your goals as if they were running away from you. This forced action is exhausting and, more often than not, counterproductive. Why? Because the frequency underlying the action is one of need and scarcity. And since the universe responds to your frequency, acting from a place of lack only creates more situations of lack. You might even achieve some results with sheer effort, but it will come at a tremendous cost, with stress and struggle, and will rarely bring the satisfaction you expected. You're pushing the river instead of flowing with it. Aligned action, on the other hand, is completely different. It's not born of fear, but of inspiration. It arises as a natural impulse when you're firmly established in your desired state of being, in your state of trust and fulfillment. It's the whisper of intuition telling you to call a specific person. It's the sudden, exciting idea that pops up out of nowhere while you're in the shower. It's the synchronicity that puts an opportunity right in front of you, a door that opens unexpectedly. When you're in a state of aligned action, action feels light, expansive, and effortless. You don't act to try to achieve a result. You act as a natural expression of who you've already become inside. You don't network out of fear of being left behind. You connect with people because you genuinely feel inspired to share and collaborate. You don't work hard to prove your worth. You create with passion because it's a joyful expression of your soul. Action becomes a celebration of your frequency, not a desperate attempt to change it. The difference is subtle, but it defines the master. The master doesn't force results. He maintains his frequency and then acts on the inspired impulses that arise from that state. He trusts that these impulses are the universe showing him the way, the how unfolding step by step. He doesn't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. He simply trusts and takes the step that is illuminated before him. So, your practice becomes twofold. First, maintain your state of being, your frequency of wholeness, as your top priority. Second, be mindful and act without hesitation on the intuitive pushes and pulls that arise from that state. It's a dance. You set the vibration, and the universe invites you to dance, showing you the steps through intuition and synchronicity. You stop trying to lead the dance with force and learn to follow the music of the cosmos. And even when you master this dance, the outside world will still test your steps. The old reality, like an echo, will still try to pull you back to the old tune. And your ability to maintain your frequency in the midst of the storm is what solidifies your mastery. Living on the invincible frequency doesn't mean the sky will always be blue and the seas will always be calm. Life in the third dimension is a training ground, and tests will continue to appear. There will be times when the old reality, with all its power and apparent logic, will show up at your door. An unexpected bill, a frightening diagnosis, a criticism from someone you love. The world will present you with evidence contrary to the frequency you're cultivating and will challenge you. What now? Do you still believe in all this power? The difference is that now you know it's a test. It's an illusion. It's an echo of your old vibrational state, a last-ditch attempt by the old program to pull you back into the loop. Before, you would have believed the illusion, reacted with fear and worry, and been immediately dragged back into the prison. Now, you see it for what it is. Just a shadow, an opportunity to demonstrate your mastery. It's the cosmic dance between focused intention and trusting surrender. When the storm comes, your practice isn't to fight it. Fighting the storm is to give your energy to it. Your practice is to anchor yourself even more deeply in your chosen state. It's to feel gratitude with even greater intensity when the unexpected bill arrives. It's to feel peace and trust with even greater conviction when chaos settles around you. It's an act of spiritual defiance. You look at the illusion of limitation and say, with your whole being, I see you, but I don't believe you. My truth is different. My reality is the one I choose to feel now. Every time you manage to maintain your frequency despite the contrary evidence of your senses, you pass the test. You strengthen your vibrational muscle. It's like going to the gym. You don't get stronger by lifting imaginary weights. You get stronger by lifting real weights. Life's storms are your weights. They give you the opportunity to strengthen your ability to maintain your center, to be the rock in the middle of the flowing river. With each test you overcome, you demonstrate to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself, who is in charge. Your confidence in your own creative power grows exponentially. What was once a theory or a hope becomes lived knowledge, an unshakable certainty. You become the master of the dance, leading with your energy, knowing that the material world, like a docile and obedient dance partner, will eventually follow your lead. It has no other choice. You learn to dance with life rather than fight it. You understand that challenges are not punishments, but opportunities to refine your frequency and deepen your mastery. You stop fearing storms and begin to see them for what they truly are, a chance to prove, once again, that your inner light is stronger than any outer darkness. And by integrating all these stages, by living this dance every day, you stop practicing a technique and start embodying a truth. You become the invincible frequency itself. And this is the ultimate legacy of ancient wisdom, the secret that Thoth and all the great masters have tried to teach us. By integrating these principles into your daily life, the journey comes full circle. You cease to be someone trying to use a technique to manifest things and begin to embody a fundamental truth about your nature. You become the scribe of your own reality, just as the legendary Thoth recorded the annals of the cosmos. But your ink is not material, and your papyrus is not physical. Your writing tool is the vibration of your own heart, and the canvas is the infinite field of quantum potential. Reality is no longer a master to be feared or an adversary to be conquered. It becomes a dance partner, a perfect and docile mirror that reflects, with impeccable precision, the majesty of your inner state. You lead with your energy, with your frequency, and the material world follows. You no longer need to fight the shadows projected on the wall of your cave, because you have turned and become the source of light itself. Where you are, darkness simply cannot exist. This is the legacy of ancient wisdom, the secret kept in the heart of the pyramids and whispered by the desert winds for millennia. The strongest frequency always prevails. Always. It's not a question of maybe or sometimes. It's a universal law, as certain as gravity. And when you learn to generate and master your own frequency, from within, you become the dominant force in your own life. If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started this video. The seed of sovereignty has been planted. To mark this moment and declare your new reality, leave the phrase, "My frequency creates worlds" in the comments. If you feel this knowledge needs to be shared and want to help this channel more directly, there's a contribution link in the first pinned comment. Any help you can give is very important to me and the growth of the channel, allowing me to continue bringing more content like this. But understand that just by making it to the end, you're already helping immensely. If this video has changed you, share it with someone you know who's ready to awaken, and don't leave yet. Your journey doesn't end here. I've created a special video to be your next step, to deepen what you've learned today. Click on the video that's currently appearing on the screen. I'll see you there.